Out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Precinct Officer Don Yala, holding down the Monday night scripture breakdown class until the general get here. Anybody got any questions? Or if y'all want to hold your questions till the general get here, that'll be Tawab. Any questions online, type them in, or you can wait till the general get here, either or. Now we're gonna move on. All right, so Slack everybody, could you grab that? Now you said the vaccine is FDA approved now? Salaki, brother? You said is the vaccine FDA approved? Salaki.
Good to go, stack it up. All right, let's get it on. I'll take your questions in the room and online, all right?
We got no questions as of now, sir.
No problem. I'll give them a second, all right? Any questions in the room, just raise your hand, all right? Let's start here, Kim, all right? Let's go to good one. I need to go. Was it Isaiah 14 to what? I believe it was Isaiah 14. Please, I'm fine going through. Let's start up above it.
Column 5, sir. Like, sir, what verse do you want to start at, sir?
I'm looking up. Let's start at 4.
Column 5. Book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 4. That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon.
It should be Isaiah 47.
Oh, 47.
Isaiah 47 and what did I say earlier?
4.
Let me see. Isaiah 47 and 4. Try to.
God, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 4. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel, speaking about the Lord our God, Yahweh, the one true living God. This scripture is about the battle that the other nations have with our God. The battle that they believe time after time, generation after generation, that they can have victory in. Nevertheless, they lose every time. Right now, you have our oppressor in a battle to control the planet Earth. And time again, when he begins to swallow up every inch of this planet, he begins to lose and his predictions fail. And the advice and the advisors he trusts in always fail him, and they're going to fail him more in the coming days, which are the last days. Keep going.
Isaiah chapter 47, verse 5. Sit thou silent and get me into darkness, O daughter of Babylon.
O daughter of Babylon. Who is the daughter of Babylon? Our oppressor. I'm sorry, go ahead.
O daughter of the Chaldeans.
O daughter of the Chaldeans. Who are the Chaldeans? Someone look them up, please.
I have it in the Bible.
Go ahead.
Kadash Yamah in Hebrew says, inhabitants of the
I think this camera is low again, Ark, if you don't mind. You die. Is this camera where we left it before? It looks super low and down. It should be higher, all right? Try to leave it like that, higher. Go ahead.
Inhabitants of the Babylonian, often also called
the inhabitants of Babylon, right? Or Babylonia. Those are the Chaldeans. Keep going.
O daughter of the Chaldeans, but thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms.
Let me help the brother out real fast. Just I'll help you out. Just slide it over to me. Slide it over this way. A little more. A little more. And now the little piece up at the top, turn that. Turn it to this way. A little more. A little more. Keep going. Keep going. That should be fine. Now if you can, I'm fine, boy. Now if you can give it more height, that would be better as well. Go ahead.
We can show you.
No, that's fine. I'll just go. I remember what it was like when we had it fixed, and that's all right. Just give me a taste more height, just about a half an inch, and you should be fine. Go ahead.
Like so we tell us if it was good.
Okay, if it's stable, you can leave it right where it's at. If it's stable. But it's not stable, then with the third leg over there, right there. Okay. Now, it looks like it's pointing over this direction. Is that the case or not?
Come on, sir.
You just turn it towards me. Keep turning. Keep turning. Keep turning. Right there. Once again, you just buy another one of these, like we talked about last time, or leave it like this, all right? Go ahead. Go ahead, continue.
Oh, it's a lot. Kind. Read it back to the top.
Chaldeans,
47, verse 5. Sit down and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans.
The Chaldeans are the Babylonians, but not just the Babylonians, but in specific, the Babylonian witches, the people in Babylon who were the astrologers, who read the stars and believed that through reading the stars, they could predict the future, right? Those were the same people. Of the Chaldeans were the people that Abraham's father came from. People who believed that you could read the stars, they worshiped the stars and believed you could predict the future from the stars, which is where today you get astrology from. Everyone understands. Which of course is false and not real. All right. But people trusted in the Chaldeans. They trusted in their interpretation of star charts. They trusted in their advice. And that's what you saw happen right now in Afghanistan. People that had intelligence and believed things were going to go a certain way because people who went to Harvard University and Columbia University told them that this would happen and that would happen, and they were wrong. And so many people never believe that our oppressor even can be wrong. You think our oppressor, his hand is behind every action in your personal life, when meanwhile, the oppressor has plans for all of us to destroy us and to increase his wealth. But do not think the Most High is short in delivering you from any plot that our oppressor might have. Look at Afghanistan. Look at what he thought was going to happen there. And then meanwhile, his advisors were wrong. The Chaldeans were wrong. Keep going.
God. But thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
That thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Lady in the Bible, much like it is in the UK today, is a title. You know, it's like sir. Sir over here is just something you tell people to be polite. But in the UK, sir is an actual title, right? And a lady is also a title. A lady means she's of royalty. She's a I forget the name of it, but she's in the queen's family or in the king's family. What's the word that begins with a P? Go ahead.
I will say nobility.
Nobility is a perfect word. Give him a hand. Nobility, right? She's a person of nobility. Well, the Lord said, no more will you be called Lady of what?
Lady of Kingdoms.
Lady of Kingdoms, meaning you are the ruler of the kingdoms of the planet. That's what's been said about our oppressor, man, since Alexander, since his father Philip. He's been the driving force at building nations all over the planet Earth, spreading his rule all throughout the East, then all throughout the West. But that time is coming short of. That time is coming to an end. Keep going.
Oh God. I was wroth, verse 6. I was wroth with my people.
The Lord said, I was wroth with my people, man, angry. You might think our oppressor is the smartest people on the planet. They're the strongest. They're the most protected. That's only because the Most High was angry with us. All of our oppressor's success, you can put all of it on one thing and one thing only, that God's anger with the chosen people of God, the Israelites, the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. He was angry at us. And if not for that, our success would have clearly surpassed our oppressors. Clearly.
Right.
Keep going.
I have polluted my inheritance.
That's what the Most High did. The Most High polluted his own inheritance. He did that because he was angry with us, man. He was angry. It's very hard to understand cause and effect if you're Christian. Repercussions. That's a difficult thing to understand, being a Christian, because the Christian church, there are no repercussions, right? There are no reactions to your actions, right? God loves you no matter what you do. That is by definition, they're telling you that there are no repercussions. There are no reactions at all. You can do anything, he loves you. There is no reaction to your action in the Christian church. And the problem with Christianity is that's not reality. That's not real. In the real world, there are absolute repercussions to what you do, man. There are consequences to what you do. There were consequences to us sinning against the Most High God, brother, at Mount Zion. There were consequences to what us building the golden calf in the wilderness. Consequences to us joining the gods of the other nations. Consequences to us standing against our own people on the side of our oppressor time and time again. And because of that, he polluted us. He poisoned us. You can see that in everything you do, in your water and in your mind. You can see that with everything you do. You are not pure. You're not a pure people at all. You are polluted. Your very thoughts are polluted with his thoughts and his desires and his culture. Your water is polluted. Your children polluted. Your women polluted. Nothing pure, nothing holy. Well, now you know how that happened, man. The Most High God was angry with us, so he gave us exactly what we asked for. And he gave it to us to our full. Keep going.
And given them into thine hand.
And given them into thine hand. That's how we got in the hand of our oppressor. Not because he won. Not because he was greater than us or stronger than us. The Most High could take a nation of farmers and sheep herders and have them destroy the greatest military in history. He can do it out. It's not a problem to the Most High God, man. Never think that we lost any battle against anyone. We haven't. Our Lord was not on our side, and he was fought against us and was on the side of our enemies. And that's how we were taken in slavery. That's how the Spanish conquistadors conquered South and Central America, man. That's how it happened. Not because they were less men or less strong or less intelligent, but the Lord, their God, was against them and gave them into the hands of their oppressor. That's what happened with the Navajo. That's what happened with the Apache. That's what happened with the Cherokee. The Most High was not with them. And because of that, they fell into the hand of our oppressor, man. It wasn't our oppressor's strength. So many white supremacists love to believe in what, I forget the name of it, divine, what's the name of that? Manifestation. What's it called? In the back.
Manifest destiny.
Manifest destiny. Give him a hand. They love that. I heard that word for the first time, I think, in 1999. And some devil came and said, as we're bringing out the crimes that our oppressor committed, he rose his hand and said, well, it's manifest destiny. I said, what in the hell is he talking about? I had to go look the damn thing up. I looked it up in the back of the camp, and I couldn't believe that he actually said that. This devil, manifest destiny, is the theory that believes that all of the bad and terrible things that white people have done throughout society since the Neanderthal, all of them have been him fulfilling his role in ruling the planet Earth. It was something he was supposed to do. So when he slaughters nations and kills children and commits genocide, it's what he had to do to rule the earth. And his destiny is to rule the earth. So really, when he kills, I'm fine, warrior, when he slaughters nations and destroys civilizations, he's really just manifesting, meaning creating his destiny. And it was one of the evilest things I ever heard someone say, man. Ever. That's what they believe. They believe when they kill and when they slaughter and when they enslave, really it's the way things are supposed to be. They had to do it so that they could rule. And the problem is most of your Christians, your blacks and Hispanics, they believe the same thing. If you ask a Christian, a black Christian, he will absolutely say the thought of slavery might not be good, but he is happy he came into slavery to come to America and be Christian. Because without slavery, he would have never been Christian. Without slavery and oppression, the Hispanic tribes would never have been Catholic. So if you love being Catholic, then you would have to love the fact that you were enslaved. Because without slavery, you would never be Catholic. You would never be Christian. It was your destiny to be ruled by them. Here's the good news of the Bible, brother. It's not his destiny. It was not his role to be the number one superpower on the planet Earth. It was your role. That was a position chosen for you by God before you were born. But you chose a different position. You chose a position of being the best weed head on your block, to roll the best blunts. You roll the best, tightest, wettest, nastiest, spit-filled blunts for all of your friends to suck on all of your spit. This piece of paper that you have sucked, literally sucked on it, and then hand it to all your friends for them to put it in your mouth. You give the best shotguns of all of your friends. That's who you are. For those of you that don't know, that's where two men come on each other's mouth like this here, and he puts the blunt in backwards so he can blow the smoke powerfully down his friend's throat. So he can fill his friend's lungs and throat with powerful smoke that he's pushed in. For the life of me, why do you do that? Smoking ain't good enough for you. You're already smoking. You're smoking, you're inhaling as hard as you can. Why do you need for this interaction? And you can tell when they blow those shotguns, it's a bonding thing. Like it's like, sharing a beer. Like they want to get mouth to mouth with each other so they can blow that smoke down their mouth and they all laugh and they love it. Let me give you a shotgun. That's you. You want to get your mouth next to all of your friends' mouths. And you want to just spit right down their throat and blow smoke. And you want them to blow smoke down your throat because you're gay, young man. Does everyone understand? That's a homosexuality. That's a deviance. The desire to do it is something in you that this get high section is not intimate enough for you. This session of getting high, it lacks intimacy. You need more intimacy. You need to take your shirt off. That's what you have to do. In the middle of the get high section, for some reason, you take off your shirt. Who in the hell knows why? But before you know it, your shirt is off. Your shirt is off. You're standing there dancing around the room. And of course, when you take your shirt off, what happens next? Everybody takes their shirts off. So now you're all in there listening to hip hop music, blowing shotguns down each other's throat, and with no shirts on. Listen, I would pray that you would find a better path to walk in life, all right? There are times coming when the Most High is going to need real men out. He's going to need them. And there's going to be a need for a real man in your house. And the problem is there isn't one in there. Do you understand? There's not a man in your house yet, which means your house is in trouble. Keep going. That's what you chose. You chose that, and because you chose that, the Most High was against us when we battle our enemies. Keep going.
Thou didst shew them no mercy.
You did show them no mercy. Speaking about our adversary, he showed us no mercy. We were given into his hand because the Most High was angry with us. And what did our enemy do? Showed us no mercy. No mercy at all, even though he knew that the only reason he was able to take us is because our God was against us. The other nations have known this about us for thousands of years, brother. It's in the Apocrypha, where the Ammonite king said it. They knew this, but yet and still they had no class even in victory. Even in victory, they had no sportsmanship, no class. They just took us, man, and destroyed us more, stripped us of our dignity, our self-respect, and our heritage, our very name he stole from us. He had no mercy on us. Keep going.
Upon the ancient has thou verily heavily laid thy yoke.
Meaning, when he took us into slavery, anyone, even in victory, you won't work an old man the way you would a child. But he takes the elderly and puts a heavy yoke on them, enslaves them, is cruel to them, makes them work, even though they're elderly. And the same thing happens today in every country ruled by our oppressor, man. You ever go into a supermarket and see somebody so old working in there? There's places you go in, man, I see old people working and go, my God, this person has to be 75 years old. 80 years old, and they're in there working. And it wasn't too long ago, back in the 70s, when they were eating cat food just so they could keep up with their health insurance payments, just so they can be able to go to the doctor. They couldn't afford food, so they had to eat cat food. Put that in your Google and look that up and see if that's an exaggeration. It is not. And they're cruel to the elderly to this very day. Keep going.
Verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever.
That's what our oppressor said. I shall be a lady forever. I will be of nobility forever. I will never fall. I will never trade places with my slaves. And he was incorrect, though. He was incorrect. And you see it happening right now. We're living in the last days. You see the COVID-19 virus. You're scared to death of everything. The fall of Afghanistan. And the fall of Afghanistan is going to breed the plague of terrorism to spread all over this planet, especially here in America and in the UK. You're going to see acts of terrorism increase exponentially, brother, everywhere. Keep going.
This is the book of Isaiah, 47.
Now you're going to see why they didn't leave for 20 years. Everyone looked at Afghanistan saying they've been there 20 years. Why don't they leave? Now you'll find out why they didn't leave. There's a reason that they stayed there for 20 years, even though they killed Osama bin Laden 10 years ago, whatever it was. They killed him and destroyed the Taliban 10 years ago. They wiped out the criminals who killed all of those people in 9/11. But they stayed there because they knew what would happen if they left. And now you're going to find out. Keep going.
This is the book of Isaiah, 47, verse 7. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. verse.
If I could, you didn't lay these things to your heart. You didn't care about the fact that the only reason you won against the Israelites is because their God was against them. You did not lay this to your heart. You were cruel to the elderly, cruel to the aged people. You thought that you would never, ever fall from your position. That's what you thought. Keep going.
Verse 8. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly.
And that's our oppressor. He is given to pleasures. He dwells carelessly, meaning he lives without care, without worry. He doesn't worry about anything at all. He's not worried about losing his job means he's going to jail, which is a ridiculous concept in 2021, that you might go to debtor's prison, which is what it would literally mean if you go to jail for child support. If you're in jail for child support, you are in debtor's prison, which is something from the goddamn 1800s, debtor's prison, where you owe someone money and now because of this debt, you're in jail. Now, and in jail for being poor because you don't owe someone $10 million. It's not like you're Enron or some of these companies that owe, millions of dollars and scam people out of their 401ks. You owe somebody $400 and you're going to jail. For owing $400 for being late one payment, you are in prison. And of course, when you're in jail, you can't keep a job in jail. Any job that you had that was halfway paying your rent, you're going to lose because you're in jail. So when you come out of jail, you have no job, which means in 2 months, you're going right back in. And that is absolutely draconian and disgusting. And if it was happening to anyone else, there would be a revolt in the street. But because it's happening to you, everyone thinks that they're cleaning up the streets by putting you in prison. Everyone supports anything that locks you away in jail for the smallest infraction of the law. Keep going.
Thou, that saidest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
That's what he said in his heart. I am, and there is none else beside me. Meaning I exist, I'm in charge, and there's no one else I have to worry about. That's what our oppressor has said, brother. And we're in the end times. Get back up to that part when we're in the latter end. Read that, please.
This book of Isaiah, to the 47th verse 7. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it.
Neither did thou remember the latter end of it. You didn't really remember what was going to happen in the end. You know the Bible. The Vatican absolutely knows the breakdowns that we're bringing out here tonight. Know who are they? Know they're Esau, and they know you are the Israelites, and they know the end of this. They know that Christ is coming back to destroy the kingdoms of this planet. They absolutely know it. Yet and still they believe that they can thwart God. They believe they can win. They know Christ is coming back. They know he's coming back with 200 million angels, but they still believe that they can win. They believe that they are, and there is none else beside them. We're going to find out. Please believe that. We're going to find out, officer.
If I could, sir, reviewing some of the books that's on the website that the school recommends, just reading some of that information that's in the books, it was shocking, to see clear cut that the white man knows who he is, what is going on, that what's in the Bible. They know who the nations are, and it's messed up because we don't know at all.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the peon white boy doesn't know. The Proud Boys don't know. The Proud Boys, can barely get in there from being drunk all night and get into that construction site, get over there to Walmart on time. They don't know, but the rich and the elites in this world who built this kingdom, they absolutely know. Who had their hand up? You had your hand up, Trooper? Right here. You got your hand up? Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say on Proud Boys thing, the one guy that Jerry Hunter was cutting up, he got locked up.
Surprise, surprise. All right. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Any questions? Am I missing something? Any questions in the room? All right. We'll pause it right there and I'll get the questions. All right. Go ahead.
Sir.
Questions?
All right, first question. The brother says, Shalom, General Hyman. How do we prove that the serpent in the garden is a man and not a snake, as Christians believe?
No problem. Well, Christians, if common sense won't work, I guess I'll give you a few precepts. All right. You would like to think some common sense works sometime. Right? What's that famous mafia cat that betrayed John Gotti back in the 80s? What's his name? Go ahead. Sammy the Bull Gravano. Type that in. Tell me what he's called. Sammy the Bull Gravano is a rat. Hell, Sammy the Bull. That one went over my head. He's called Sammy the Bull Gravano. Maybe he's an actual bull. Maybe that's what that means. But you'll type in Sammy the Bull Gravano, and they'll call him a rat because he betrayed John Gotti and testified against him and testified he killed 18 people by his own hand. John Gotti killed about 20 by his own hand. And Sammy the Bull Gravano is a rat. Type that in. Now, for you Christians listening, he's called a bull because he's so tough and likes to fight. He's called a rat because he's a snitch. He is not actually a bull or a rat. Shockingly, right? The snake in the Garden of Eden is not an actual talking snake that was talking to Eve. The snake in the Garden of Eden is a low-down, lying man. I said low down for a reason, because snakes move on their belly. They're low down. They have forked tongues, which became synonymous with lying, especially among the so-called North American Indian. Paleface speaks with a forked tongue. You can type that in your Google as well, all right? I'll give you the precepts that you need. First, give me the one I want in Ezekiel. I believe it's 28:8 or Ezekiel 8:28. The beast of the field. The serpent was the most subtle beast of the field. And then give me beast of the field in Ezekiel 28:8. All right? And then we'll get it on.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Was more what?
Subtle
Than
any beast of the field.
The serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Why is the Most High comparing the serpent with the beast of the field and saying he was more subtle than any beast of the field? It's like me saying, of all of the football players, you are the fastest. You were the fastest basketball player. You were the tallest of any of the basketball players, which meant what about you? You were also a basketball player, and you were the tallest. You were also a football player, and you were the fastest. The serpent is a beast of the field, but he is more subtle than any beast of the field. The word subtle is the origin of a word we use today called subtle. Subtle. Subtle is subtle. What does it mean to be subtle? To be slick, to be smooth, just like blow my mind, young brother, just like a snake, subtle, slick, smooth. This is a man who has this kind of character. This is not an actual talking snake. Now I'm going to pull it in 1 second. Hold your point 1 second so I can just pull the precept for you. All right. So now give me beast of the field. I believe that's Ezekiel 28:8 or Ezekiel 8:28. Someone look it up. Go ahead.
So if you would.
Please.
If I could, bull, it's a Sammy the Bull Gravano King Rat. That's like a documentary.
That's what it says. So Christians, I don't know, but he's not a real bull. And he's not a rat either. So I don't understand. I'm not a child that you can lie to in Sunday school, however. I am a grown goddamn man who understands context and hyperbole and slang. Now, Christians, if you don't understand slang, then okay. Sammy the bull must be an actual bull who also is a rat, I guess, some of the time. I don't know. I'll just move on. All right. Let's now that we're going to stop lying and speaking about fairy tales, I'll explain why the serpent is a man who was called a snake. Give me beast of the field.
Come. Ezekiel chapter 34, verse 8. As I live, saith the Lord
I don't think this is it. But let me hear this one. I think I need 28 and 8 or 8 and 28. But let me hear what you have.
Come. Surely because my flock became prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
That's what you need. You were right. Give him a hand. And what verse? This is Ezekiel 34 and what?
Come, sir. Ezekiel 34 and verse 8.
Okay. But surely because my flock became what?
Surely because my flock became a prey, and my flock became meat to every beast of the field.
So if you're battling a Christian, you pull this precept and then ask the Christian, who is the Lord's flock? Right? And that Christian is not going to say sheep that live in a farm. He's not going to say that. He's going to say the Lord's flock is either Christians or his chosen people or the Israelites. Well, then you'll say, well, Christian, well, that's not sheep. Why would the Lord call them his flock when they're people? He said, my flock, right? What's a flock? There's a few different flocks, a flock of seagulls, a flock of this, a flock of that, or a flock of sheep, which is what you would call a group of sheep, a flock. The Lord's flock are the Israelites. He refers to them as the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Christians, relax. They're not real sheep. They're not real sheep. They're people that he's calling sheep. All right?
Right.
Surely because the Lord's flock became a prey to every beast of the field. Now, what is the field? The field is the earth. The beasts are the things on this earth that devour his flock. There's a reason that they're called beasts. They're called beasts because they eat us. They destroy us. They kill us. We're the sheep, they're the beasts. Surely because my flock became a prey to every beast of the field. Now give me my precept I need to prove what the beasts of the field are. I believe that's 28 and 8 or 8 and 28. Come on.
Like it's in the same chapter.
Salakia.
Verse 28.
Salakia, I apologize. Go ahead, read it. Tell them where it is.
Come. Ezekiel 34 and verse 28.
Ezekiel 30. So it's 34 and 8 and 34 and 28.
Come.
The what? Go ahead.
Come. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen.
Read that again.
And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen.
The Lord said, surely my flock became a prey to the beasts of the field. Then he's saying, now he's given us his promise that when he forgives us and our behavior is corrected, we shall no more be a prey to the heathen. My flock became a prey to the beast of the field. Surely my flock will stop being a prey to the heathen. The heathens are the beasts of the field. It's right in front of you. The heathens are the beasts of the field. So now what are heathens? Other nations. Any nation who is not his flock.
Right.
His sheep. His sheep are the Israelites. So now I just have to look for the slickest of all of the heathens. The most subtle. The most subtle. Who are the people that make you think that they believe in freedom while you're in slavery?
Right.
That's a lot of subtileness on it. Like that's a rough call. Like how do you make someone believe they're free and they're in the land of the free while they're in chains? Because that happened in America. In 1776, everybody was free and they kept selling slaves and believed that this was the land of the free and that all men are created equal. All men are created equal while people were in slavery. And here's the problem. The slaves thought they were free. Let me show you how subtle they are. Give me Harriet Tubman real fast. Then you want to destroy a Christian with this breakdown. Then you take them straight to Revelations, the 11th chapter. That same old serpent. You take me right to there. All right, and you end it with that, officer. You had your hand up. Someone had their hand up. Solid. Go ahead. You got it.
I was saying, what you bringing out journal was so heavy. I mean, they get ready to house what, close to a couple 100,000 of Afghanistanis, and our Issachar brothers and sisters are still going to be locked in cages.
Give him a hand. That's a fact. That's something else. We'll go over to Afghanistan and fly them over there. Force commercial airlines to bring them over here on planes, and yet stand at the southern border like, we can't take any more people. Don't come over here. We don't have any room for Mexicans. It's too many of you. We don't know who you are. We don't know. Do any of those Afghanistanis have COVID-19? Are they screening them before they come over here? Because I remember that you couldn't let Mexicans come over here because of South America, Central America. They might be from Honduras. Oh man, they might have the COVID-19 virus. It's a health issue. Oh, wait a minute. They might be drug dealers. They might be criminals. Are they scanning to see if they're bringing heroin dealers in here from Afghanistan? Murderers, terrorists. With them, it's totally fine. Bring them all. Both parties believe you should just, Joe Biden, you're wrong. You have to get them over here. Bring them here. Meanwhile, the Mexicans are in cages waiting to prove that they have a cousin that lives in, Arizona, some goddamn where, and they're going to bring a plane load of terrorists into America. And yet everyone believes that this is a wonderful place and the people of Afghanistan should be saved. Let me just make this point with Harriet Tubman. This is the best way to understand who the serpent is, who the snake is. Where is it at? Harriet Tubman, you don't know what I want. You know what I want, Morel? You have it up? Go ahead, read it nice and loud.
He actually got it.
Oh, Salaki. Harriet Tubman said this. When was this? Back in the 1800s? Read it aloud for them, please. You die?
Khan. Harriet Tubman said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves.
You think you got a rough job. You think your job is rough. You out in the street trying to tell people that our oppressor is the devil, trying to free them. And they're not in chains. They're not being whipped. She was trying to free people out. And she was limited to 1,000 because none of the rest of them believed they were even slaves at all. Our oppressor is subtile. He is the most subtile beast of the field. Otherwise, how in the hell does this even happen? How does this even happen? Because their oppressor is so slick that he will have you in slavery and you will support him. You will be on his side. You will believe anyone trying to rescue you is actually trying to kidnap you. Do you understand? All right. Last one. What is it? Revelations 11. That old serpent. Go ahead.
This book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9.
Salakia, Revelations 12 and 9. Go ahead.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent.
That what?
That old serpent.
And the great dragon was cast out. The great dragon. This is from the book of Revelations. This is a vision that John had while he was in prison. And he saw this dragon being cast out, being thrown out. Keep going. And this dragon was what?
Cast out. That old serpent.
That what?
That old serpent.
That what?
That old serpent.
That old serpent. Why is it saying old serpent? Because it's from Genesis. Right. It's from the beginning. Not a new serpent, not a new snake. There's tons of snakes around right now. Drug dealers and Christians and Muslims and people that will betray their own people for their own gain. But we're talking about that old serpent. That's the one from Genesis. He's also a dragon. So now, if it's a real snake, he's also a dragon that flies in the sky and fire comes out of his mouth. That old serpent, go ahead.
Called the devil.
Called what?
The devil.
Called the devil. Right? Our oppressor is a snake. He is a dragon. And he is a heathen. And heathens are people. Heathens are nations. The snake in the garden is a heathen. He is the slickest of all of the heathen people. He is our oppressor. It's right there. And there's probably 5 more precepts I can give you. Give me another one. What's the last word he used for him right there?
The devil.
No, read it a few words before that.
Okay. And the great dragon was cast out.
Mm-hmm.
That old serpent called the devil.
Called the what?
The devil.
Called the what?
The devil.
Now I'll give you Isaiah 14:8. That old serpent called the devil. So now we have to find out what the devil is. Is the devil a snake that's, in the garden somewhere, or a talking snake that Eve ran into? If the heathen precept wasn't enough for you, and I can't understand how it couldn't have been enough, but I'll give you another one. The devil. Now we're going to break down the devil. Give me Lucifer in Isaiah 14.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of Isaiah, the 14th and verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Now, Christians, is Lucifer the devil? That's what you ask your Christian. You say, who is Lucifer? A Christian is going to say, that's the devil. Okay, so Lucifer is the devil. Is that correct? Yes, it's correct. Read it again.
Okay. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Well, the Lord is saying that Lucifer is going to fall from heaven. What's heaven? Heaven is a condition. Heavenly. You can say this cake is heavenly, or this island is like heaven. Heaven is a state of happiness. And there is a people, a heathen people, that are in a state of absolute happiness right now, brother. They were the people that got the vaccine first. They got it first. While your grandmother was dying, and your father was dying, and Puerto Rico was dying, they had the vaccine. They had the vaccine. They're protesting in the streets right now in Cuba, protesting because they will not give them the vaccine in Cuba. And they in the street burning cars because they're dying. Oh, there was a people that got it first. Went up there and walked straight over there and got that vaccine, and it was no big deal because they're rich and in power, and their lives are more important than yours. They are in heaven. There's a time coming when he's going to fall from heaven. He's not going to be the first one that everyone is concerned about, that everyone cares about, that gets the best health care, the best food, the best living conditions. He's going to fall from that state of heaven. Keep going.
Okay. Son of the morning.
What?
Son of the morning.
He's son of the morning, meaning what? He is bright and shining. That's the son of the morning, meaning that's when the sun is high in the sky in the morning. Not when the sun is setting, but when the sun is high in the sky, first thing in the morning. That is our oppressor. That's him. He is bright and shining and glowing. His whole life is what you idolize. Your whole life. Blacks and Hispanics, you go your whole life just wishing you were white. That's your every dream, every day. And it's so wild. Let me give you a small psychological key. When white children want to become Michael Jordan for Halloween, or when they want to become a black athlete that they idolize, white children will paint their faces black. Have you seen that before? Raise your hand if you have not seen that before. You haven't seen it before, After What? Yeah, you've seen it. They put on blackface. And then recently they would get angry at them and they would say, well, I'm just trying to be, give me somebody. I'm just trying to be Michael Jordan. So I put on blackface. And here's what's mind-blowing. Every Halloween you've ever had, you went as a white person. Everyone. And you never put on whiteface. Do you know why you didn't? Who can blow my mind? If a white person is trying to be black, a black Michael Jordan, Oprah, they are going to put on blackface so that they can pretend to be their Halloween person, or if they're in a costume ball, they're going to put on blackface. Because why? The person they're pretending to be is black. So it's just logical, really. But your whole life, you were Superman. Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash. Give me some more. The Hulk or whatever, green, I guess. I don't know. You've been white people for all of your Halloweens. And you never said, I got to put on some white face because I'm playing a white man or playing a white woman. Why didn't you do that in the back?
Because he didn't think he really beat him.
You thought you for sure was Spider-Man. You thought you definitely was Wonder Woman and Batman. Sis?
Because you're not pretending to be the person you actually want to be. Like the white children are pretending.
Give her a hand. You are this white man. You understand? That's how you see yourself. You see yourself like you're them. Not like you're pretending to be someone that's white. You are them because you absolutely idolize them. So you don't put on white face because in your mind, you already have his face. In your soul, that's your face. And so no black kid, how many black kids this year are going to go as Superman? None of them are going to put on white face, but they're going to put on that cape and look in that mirror and go, damn it, I'm Superman. I am him. I'm the white man on TV. I am him. And that's a sad psychological problem, brother. You idolize them to that extent. That's a deep, deep psychological damage that white supremacy has already done to you. Keep going. So now we know that he is shining. He's the sun. He's bright. Everyone wants to be him. Go ahead.
How art thou cut down to the ground?
But he's going to come down. He's going to be cut down to the ground. Keep going.
Which didst weaken the nation.
And this Lucifer did weaken the nations. The nations were weakened by him. He destroyed countries. He broke treaties. He weakened the nation. Lucifer. Keep going.
Oh God. Verse 13. For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven.
Lucifer went up into heaven. Lucifer went up into the stars. Lucifer went to the moon in 1969, and now just a random rich white man went up there 2 weeks ago. No one from the Air Force, no scientist that went to MIT, just a white man who sells packages, ships packages around the globe, virtually a mailman. Somebody that's a mailman. He went to space, him and his mom and his brother. Nobody that went to MIT and the Air Force and were colonels in the Air Force. Just his mom and his brother. They went up there with him. And in a minute, you're going to see white people going to space, brother, like they go to Florida. It is about to happen. It's about to happen. All of the trash that they have on the earth, they're going to pay that white man to take that trash and to expel it up into the atmosphere. That is next. They're going to take, and everyone is going to applaud when they make space as filthy as the ocean is. They're going to do that. They're going to take all of that trash, send it up with no one in the plane. No one has to even be in it. They'll just send it up and they let it out in the atmosphere. Not above the atmosphere in the space. And then for $240,000, you're going to get to go to space. That's how much it costs. That's how much those cars cost. That McLaren or one of those old Ferraris, that's $240,000. So rather than just buy one of those cars, they're going to be astronauts. And if you go to space, you are an astronaut. You get to now at every party say, hey, this is John Smith, the astronaut. This is Becky Carter, the astronaut. You spent $240,000 on a Lamborghini. Well, now you get to be an astronaut for $240,000. Captain in the back.
Yes, like if I could, when Jeff went up there, right, he paid $250,000 and it was only 11 minutes. So you went up there, $250,000, from
now he's an astronaut. Now he's Jeff Bezos, the astronaut. Go ahead.
If I could, sir, the heavy thing about it is, like what you was bringing out earlier about our oppressor and know who he is. Like in his spirit, he know he's the one that's destroying the earth. Because like him even trying to go to space is halfway to escape from his dang self. Like he know how terrible he is.
That's what he says. But he knows that he has to get off of this planet.
Right.
and they have a urge to get off the planet that's intense. They have to do it because they know Judgment Day is coming. Now, you as a Christian, you might think, well, Lucifer, fell from heaven. Lucifer ascends into heaven. But there's a man that did that too. There's a man that went into space. There's a man that's going to fall from his position as well. But I'm not done. Let me wrap up. I need another question. Keep going.
Oh God. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Keep going.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation.
I don't have time to break all that down, but it's a good one. Keep going.
In the sides of the north.
Keep going.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds.
Skip down to, is this the man?
Oh God. Verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.
When he falls, and when now he's in the dirt and poor and suffering, they that see him will narrowly look upon him, like you squint your eyes to try to look at him and understand him. Keep going.
And consider thee.
And think about him and say,
is this the man?
Is this what?
The man?
Is this the what?
The man?
Who are we speaking about right here? Lucifer. Lucifer is a man. Heathens are people. The snake is the most subtle heathen on the planet Earth. Lucifer is a man. Our oppressor is the devil. The devil is a man. Everybody understands, all right? I got to move on now. You die.
Sir. Brother asks, what does it really mean if a man don't work, he shall not eat? I would like a breakdown because the Christian church is always using this scripture.
Yeah, and the purple homosexuals, they use the same precept to try to devalue a black man and an Hispanic man as if you already aren't suicidal every day. When the Bible says if a man does not work, he shall not eat, what he's speaking about is working in the work of the Lord. This is Paul speaking about how they came together and ate, and they were eating, and how some of them were eating unworthy because they did not work. You understand? Let's pull it real fast, quickly. I don't have time. Come on. All right. Many Christians will pull this precept. They of course don't understand it because their agenda is the same agenda as your supervisor on your job. Right. Their agenda is to belittle you and harass you to make you more productive. And now they send a preacher into your bedroom to weaponize your wife against you to become your supervisor at home, to push you to be more productive for a job that is going to throw you away the minute they can find a robot that does it better. Where we at? Someone read it. Let you die read it since he's close to the brother that's listening, all right? The water captain, go ahead.
2 Thessalonians chapter 3, verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat.
Do I need to start above it for context, or can I start right there?
I think you're supposed to start
How many verses?
Verse 6 is good. All the way down to 10, sir.
All right, go ahead quickly.
2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 6. Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that ye withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorderly.
This is important. Christians don't understand this precept, but this precept is at work right now in the UPK. Paul said, withdraw yourself from every brother that's what?
That walketh disorderly.
That walketh disorderly. That's an old UPK word, being out of order. Refrain from being around any brother who is out of order. Now, what does it mean to be out of order? Who knows?
A man that is not disciplined, that don't follow orders.
Not following orders is the perfect way to understand it. Give him a hand, right? This is what Paul is saying. Paul is saying that you can't, you fit in a line. That's an order, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's an order. So if anyone is in that order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you could go around him. Why? because 3 answers to 2, and 2 answers to 1, and 6 answers to 5, and 5 answers to 4. He's in order. There's someone who's responsible for him, and he is responsible to someone above him. When someone is out of order, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this nigga over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this cat over here. This person over here. They're not in this order, which means they report to no one. They're responsible to no one, which means I can't trust their behavior. I can trust the behavior of 4 because I know that 4 has to answer to 3. And 4 is going to be careful how he treats me, how he talks to me, how he deals with my wife or with my kids, because he's under orders. So you can predict his behavior. And if his behavior is foul, you have someone to report him to. But if this cat is not under, he reports to no one. He doesn't check in. He doesn't follow orders. Then now when he attempts to sleep with your wife, now what? What do? How do you punish him? How do you handle it? Nothing. Either you'll take the law in your own hands, or you'll have to figure some other way, because since he's not in the order, he's outside of our jurisdiction. But if he's in the order, now even if he does something wrong, he's within the process to make wrong right. I pray you understand that. Read it one more time.
Now we command you, brethren, in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, that you withdraw yourselves from every brother that walketh disorder.
And that's what you got to do. It's rare in the UPK, but there are some times when you might get a post on the camp leader's message board to not be around this brother. That's rare. I don't even remember the last time it ever happened. If it happens, you better obey her. You better stay away from this cat. It's rare if a woman, if you hear this sister is not in the school, don't call her, refrain from being around her. If you get that order, you better stay away from that sister. She's out of order. She's out of order. We can't control what she does. She reports to no one. This brother's out of order. We can't control what he does. He reports to no one. Stay away from them, and it's a command. Does everyone understand? Keep going.
And not after the tradition which he received of us.
Meaning what? They're behaving in a way that is outside of the traditions that they received from us. There is a way that we are ordered to treat each other. And if you are in order, you will be responsible for treating each other in that way. But this cat over here who's outside of it, he does whatever the hell he wants to do. Now, you let him around your kids if you want. You let him around your children if you want to do something like that. He's outside. Now, if he's inside and he does something foul to your children, please believe we can handle that. There's all kinds of things to be done. Legally, camera. Legally. There's all kinds of things that can be done. All right? If he's in order, he can be disciplined. But if he's outside of the order, then he can't be controlled. Stay away from him. Stay away from her. Keep going.
Verse 7. For yourselves know how ye ought to follow us.
You know that. Meaning Paul is saying, you know you're supposed to follow us. Meaning Paul and the men with him. So now when they leave, don't go and follow someone who doesn't do what Paul did when he was there. Who doesn't behave like him. You know you're supposed to follow us. Keep going.
For we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
Listen to that. Read that again.
For we behave not ourselves disorderly among you.
What book is this in?
Book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 7.
Paul went down to Thessalonica, man. He traveled, much like a lot of you brothers travel, and Commanding General Johanna travels. And you met him and were around him. And you saw how he behaved himself. Well, then when Commanding General Johanna leaves, then this cat comes and acts completely different. He's a gluttonous bastard, taking everything from you, has everyone serving him, serving his gigantic ego, and his lust all day. And then you could say, wait a minute, Commander General Yohana was just down here. He didn't do this. He didn't treat us like this. He didn't abuse his authority. Why is this cat abusing his authority? I start to compare how this man is treating me. I compare it to Commander General Yohana. Well, Paul is saying, remember how I treated you, how I was in order. Paul answers to who? He answered to Peter. Paul answered to Peter and the other disciples, and he said, I didn't behave myself like that. I didn't do that. Remember that. And anybody not following my traditions, you stay away from them. Keep going.
Verse 8. Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
Neither did we what?
Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
When Paul was in Thessalonica, did he eat any man's bread? Trooper. Yes.
I'm going to say no.
Read it one more time.
Neither did we eat any man's bread for naught.
When Paul was in Thessalonica, did he eat any man's bread? Same trooper. Just read right in front. Let's look right in front of you.
I guess it would be yes, I guess.
Why do you say that?
I guess it said man's bread for naught. I'm trying to look for naught.
No problem. For naught means for nothing. For naught, that's what naught means. Old English for nothing. So in essence, what he's saying is, we did not eat any man's bread for nothing when we were in Thessalonica, which means he ate other men's bread, but he didn't do it for nothing. Do you understand? Come on.
I just want to make sure when you're saying bread, are we talking about physical food or are we talking about something else?
Like bread like money or bread like food?
Bread like food.
What's the difference? What's the difference between, as you know, the tribe of Judah calls bread money? What is Issachar called money? Any slang for money?
Same thing, sir.
Bread, shalom. They do the same thing in Issachar. Bread. Bread has been money for a long time. All right. It's also in the Bible where the Lord said, if you didn't watch yourself, there would be 5 women and they would all split your bread in one oven. You understand? That's in the Bible. The more wives you get, before you know it, they all are breaking down your bread. That's in the Bible. Because it's the same thing, huh? Because that's where you get food from, money. You understand? It's synonymous. Also with cheese and cheddar. You've heard that term before, correct? It's all the exact same thing, which is what Paul is saying. Those men who fed Paul, they fed him with money because that's how you get food, right? Simple enough to understand. Money has been around for a great long time, right? For 1,000 years or something like that. Back when it used to be salt, which is salary, which is salt money, salary. They use salt for money. Before that, pebbles. You understand? They converted, goods and wheat to pebbles because you can't, transport 1,000 ears of corn before it rots. So instead you say these pebbles represent this corn. So now I can trade this back and forth and not have to trade back 1,000 ears of corn or 50 head of cattle. I can say these pebbles are 50 head of cattle, which is what money is. This $50 represents this much food, this much bread. Come on.
Real quick, can I get the precept for what you said about the women putting your bread in the oven?
Someone find that for me real fast. They shall split thy bread in one oven. It's in the Old Testament. I'll get right back on it after I find that, all right? You can read and someone else find it. Go ahead.
Book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 8. Neither do we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor.
1 second. Go ahead, Marah.
Leviticus chapter 26, verse 26.
Let him read. Ashtawak, Leviticus what?
26 and 26.
Leviticus 26 and 26. Go ahead. Take your time. Do I have more questions online? All right, speed it up for a second. All right, Aki. All All right. Go ahead.
And when I have broken the staff of your bread, 10 women.
When I have done what?
Broken the staff of your bread.
When I have broken the staff of your bread. The staff of your bread meaning what? The strength of your bread. The Most High breaks the staff of your bread, which means what about your bread? Your bread ain't strong anymore, Rob. Your bread is not strong anymore. This is a good child support precept. Where he breaks the strength of your bread. Your bread is weak and not strong. Keep going. When he does that, what happens? When I have broken the staff of thy bread. I want you just to read it. That's all. Good.
10 women shall bake your bread in one oven.
10 women shall bake your bread in one oven. That's child support. Now they all take your bread and they all break it in one oven. Meaning they all share it. They all share your bread. When? When the staff of your bread is broken. So now they all split up your money. Congratulations, you're a ladies' man. You went out and had sex with a lot of women, a lot of whores. Was it fun? Good, that's beautiful. Well, then go down to that child support court and give up that entire paycheck and eat out of a can of lentil beans and what's those beans in a can? I forget. The baked beans. Because all of those sluts and whores who you would never stay with, you have children with. And that's poetic. Like it's poetic because there are women you're going to have a child with that you would never marry. You understand? You talk about marry him? Hell no. I'll just have a baby with him. Instead of marry her, hell no, I won't marry that hoe. But I will have a child with her to raise till he's 18 with this slut. Marry her? No, I can't settle down with a woman like that. No, she's a hoe. God forbid I could settle down with that type of hoe. Now I have 3 kids with her, yeah. Moving on. That bread is theirs now. Everybody understands? That's their bread. They're going to bake it in the same oven. They're going to bake it. They're going to split it. They're going to share it now. Congratulations. You had a lot of good sex out there. I got to move on, all right? Go back to where we were. Go ahead.
2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 8. Neither do we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor.
But wrought with labor, worked with labor. That's how they ate bread out there. Did Paul eat other man's bread? Absolutely, he ate other men's bread. But he worked for it. Do you understand? He worked for that bread. He didn't eat it for nothing. Paul went out there solving every problem they had. Paul said, is it a strange thing that I should reap from you carnal things if I have reaped unto you spiritual things? I've solved all of your spiritual problems, which mean you can solve my carnal problems because I have solved your spiritual problems. I work for my money. And that's One West. A lot of you captains are about to find that out. I couldn't stop Commanding General Yohana from paying every captain. I tried mightily. I tried to stop him. Long nights of me saying, sir, don't do that. Sir, don't pay them. That brother doesn't do anything. That's what I would say. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't work to receive pay. He doesn't. There are 5,000s, 1,000s that work harder than that captain. And over, I would say it time and time again. You know what he would say? Nah, that brother earned his right. Shammai. And I would hear him and I would go ahead and shut my mouth. I would do that. I would be quiet when he said that. And I couldn't stop him from paying a man who has been in the truth for the length of time it takes for a captain to earn that kind of rank and that kind of reputation. But please believe, General Yohana has not stopped me from making you work for it. If you're a captain in the UPK, now you're going to receive a salary, a paycheck for that rank. Give yourselves a hand. You earned it. There are a lot of captains that are not going to go to jail now because Commander General Yohana is going to pay your child support. And so you're not going to ever have to go to jail. You're going to be out of prison because you're a captain in the UPK. and he's going to pay that money directly to child support, just like Walmart pays your paycheck to child support. He's going to pay it to him, and now you're going to have freedom because you're a captain. But Commanding General Yohana has not tied my hands in making you work. And please believe it, that a captain in the UPK, you are not working hard enough to get that money. You're not. And any of you that think you've earned it, you're fooling yourselves. You do not work hard enough. You don't take out enough camps. You don't raise the dead. You don't push and push and push and grind because you don't have a terrible supervisor on your back the way you would on a construction site or the way you would at Walmart. On Walmart, you can't go to the goddamn bathroom. Do you know that, y'all? You sitting at Walmart, brother, you getting paid at Walmart. You literally are not allowed to go to the bathroom. You're holding your urine to go to Walmart, to work there. You're sitting there with your feet sore, customers cursing at you. Who's ever worked at McDonald's or a fast food restaurant? Raise your hand. What do they tell y'all to do if a customer disrespects you and curses you out? What are the rules up front?
Get a manager.
Get a manager. You can't express yourself in McDonald's when you get cursed out in McDonald's. You got to stand there, shave your beard, be emasculated. You now are a captain in the UPK, receiving a salary in the UPK, but you are going to work 10 times harder than you have. And please believe, if you think I'm talking about you, I absolutely am talking about you. I went through the list and looked at it and thought to myself, what in the hell is he getting money for? For what? For nothing? For apps? He barely comes to class, let alone teaches a class. He doesn't even get taught, let alone teach. Please believe I'm going to be on you and helping you to become more productive, all right? I'm going to help productivity. I'm going to help you work for it. Read it again.
Come. Neither do we eat any man's bread for naught, but wrought with labor and travail night and day.
Night and day. That's what they did for their bread. What in the hell are you doing? Really, a lot of you should pass. And I was disappointed to hear how not enough of you passed on that salary. Give Captain Tazariak, he passed on it. Give him a hand. He passed. Captain Azaniah passed. Captain Ahmad passed. Passed on it. Those captains passed on that salary. Not enough of you passed. Quite a few of you should have passed. Really, I was hoping to just really pay damn near no captain. That was the point. To not give any of you a goddamn salary at all because you don't deserve it at all. And if you don't know that, I'm going to help you to understand it. It would be right if you passed it to some brother sitting in Haiti living in a goddamn tent. Some brother sitting, in Florida living in a backyard of some brother's house. Far more of you should have passed on that salary because every captain that passes, it gets to go down the line. And it could make it down to some officer of 50 somewhere going to class, washing himself in a bus station bathroom to put on his all black and go to class while you barely go to class, let alone teach it. Don't worry. General Yohana has assured me that I will get a few months to push everybody off that list who shouldn't be on it. And I'm going to work day and night to take away your salaries from you, to get rid of them, so they can get passed down to someone else who actually works. Does everyone understand? Does anyone think I don't mean what I'm saying? All right, then we can move on. All right, keep going.
Come. That we might not be chargeable to any of you.
That's the point. Because if you are getting paid and you are not working, then can't some 5,000 go, this brother's, he's a 10,000 getting paid. He doesn't do a goddamn thing. He ain't helped me one time. I called him. He don't even answer his phone. I called him for help. I can't even get him on the phone. I know he's a captain, which means he's getting a salary, yet I can't even get him on the phone at all when I need backup. I can't even get this captain on the phone. Then that 5,000 can charge you. He can charge you for not working, for not doing your job. Keep going.
Verse 9. Not because we have not power.
Read that again.
Not because we have not power.
Listen, Paul didn't have to work. He didn't have to say, well, let me work hard for these brothers' bread. If he wanted, he could take the goddamn bread. He saved their lives. He could take the bread if he wanted. He could say, just give me your money, man. Just give me your bread so I can eat. And let that be that. I saved your lives. I got you out of the world. Shut your goddamn mouth. He could do that. It wasn't because he didn't have the power to do it. Keep going.
But to make ourselves an example unto you.
But that was more important to him. To be an example. And you captains that receive that pay, we expect you to be an example to the brothers under you. So now, I can tell you why y'all was shot. So now, just look at yourself and go, I'm getting paid for nothing. What's your job? 15% of it is drinking with other brothers. That's your job. I would say about 15 to 20%. 15 to 20% of your job is being with your brothers, laughing and joking and drinking. That's your job. That's 15 to 20% of your goddamn job. If you don't have a camp out on the street constantly, if you're not striving for more camps, if you're not up all night losing sleep, solving problems, then you know that you're short. Now, can you take the money? Of course you can. You're a captain. You're an extremely high rank in the UPK, right? Which means you've been in the truth at least 10 years. At least 10 to 15 years, right? You've seen a ton of battles, a ton of heartache, a ton of stress, a ton of losses in 15 years of being in the truth, right? You have the power to do it, but don't you want to be an example to the brothers under you? Don't you want to show them what they should do? And that's what Captain Ahmad, Captain Azaniah, and Captain Tazariah did it for, to be an example. So the 5,000s could go, God damn it, that brother passed up that pay. Now I'm getting a pay at 5,000. Now I'm getting a salary at 1,000. Now I'm getting a salary at 1,000. You know what? That's the right example, man. That's a leader. That brother did that for me. You know what? I'm 5,000. I'm passing it to. I'm 1,000. I'm passing it to. Now some poor woman with 4 kids who's living under a bridge now is getting money because every captain, officer, trooper has passed. So now this sister is able now to get a place to live in an apartment. And now she looks above her and goes, those are the men of God. That's what Paul wanted to do. He wanted to be an example and not just take the money because he was in the position to take it, not just to eat the bread because he was in the position, but he wanted to work for it. So the brothers under him would know to work for it. Do you understand? Keep going.
Come. So follow us. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that any of you, if any would not work, neither should he eat.
I pray you understand now what that precept is talking about. If you don't work, you can't eat. If you don't work in the truth, you can't eat in the truth. If you work at Walmart and that's where you put all of your time, Walmart will feed you. If you want to eat in the UPK, you have to work for it. I pray you understand. Next.
Sir, can you break down Proverbs 17 and 17?
Go ahead.
Come. The book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 17. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
I'm sorry. Read it one more time. Salakia.
Come. A friend loveth at all times, and
a friend loves at all times. What is the all times? That's what you need. All time. What does that mean?
Through good and bad.
What is bad?
Through adversity.
through adversity, meaning there's a friend that loves you because you have all the weed, all of the liquor, all of the hoes, all of the money. So he's your friend. But then there's a time when you have nothing, when you're poor. And then before you know it, you lose all of your friends. Your friends are gone because you don't have anything for them to use and eat up. And many of you find that out when you get locked up or you get arrested. And then you're shocked when no one puts any commissary on your books. You wonder, where did all the friends go? What happened to all the gang? Where's the gang at when you sitting in there struggling with ramen goddamn noodles and with slippers on and no goddamn shoes? Where's the gang at? Where are they? All these people I got tattooed all over my goddamn body. When you're in prison, where in the hell are they? Your gang is for fun time. Your gang is for getting high and robbing people and Instagram videos. Your gang ain't for commissary out. That's not the gang you're in. Yeah, I pray you understand that. Come on.
Good. Your car break down. The brother call you, see if your car break down. If it don't, hang the phone up and go call
Jesus Christ. Don't listen. Don't need somebody to help you move.
Right.
Like that's a brother. Somebody, you don't see who your brother is when you need to move. Right? When you need a U-Haul truck and somebody to help you move, you'll find out. Your car break down, forget about it. Like that's a small thing, but your friendship is not that strong. Come on.
If I could, there was a situation that my little brother, he's in a gang.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a performance, and I was there, supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
And these other guys came.
Mm-hmm.
It was more deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And they came, and I seen it was about to go down. So we out there scrapping. Man, I'm taking on all these dudes. Literally, only one person from his gang rolled out with us. And I told him, I said, you see that? You better leave these gangs alone, man. Come get in class. This happened last year, sir.
Give him a hand. Listen, he better learn now. So many of them are. Even when they jump you into a gang and beat you up, as you're getting beat, you're thinking to yourself, this is to make me tough. And even when you know that you have to get beat up to get jumped in your mind as a boy, you like it, like, yeah, it means I'm tough. Here's what you don't know. The reason that they beat you up to jump you in is just simply because they enjoy beating people up. That's it. It's just because it's fun to beat up people. And to beat up people when they can't hit you back. When it's 20 of them on one person. And that's why they joined the gang, to be able just to win fights, not to lose any, not to get beat up. But they love to beat up people, and that's why they jump you into a gang by beating you up. And you'll be thinking that this is a bonding experience. This means you're tough. Those same gang members that beat you up, when it comes time for you, they're going to leave you. Leave you in court, leave you on the street, leave you for their own good. And forget about the fact that they are going to have sex with your woman. That is a guarantee. I got to go. Keep going.
A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
And a brother is born. Spell the word born.
B-O-R-N.
A brother exists. He is born into this world for adversity. That's one West.
Right.
Meaning the whole reason he even exists is for today. That's why. That's why he was born. That's why he wasn't born because you had a lot of weed or you had a connect or you had all these hoes with you. He was born because there was going to come a time in your life when you were going to have no one but him. And that's why he was born. That's one West. That's why he exists. That's what this brotherhood is for. Huh? There are all kinds of different brothers in the UPK. You might have a brother that you hang with all the time. You might have this brother who you don't hang with all the time. You might have this brother, you have the same hobbies, in common. These brothers, you don't have the hobbies in common. These brothers might like hip hop. These brothers might like jazz. These brothers might like sports. These brothers might like the martial arts. These brothers might like movies. These brothers might like drawing. And so you might not hang out with each other for fun. There might be certain brothers that you only hang out with for fun. and that's your crew in the school, and everybody supports you brothers hanging with each other and having brotherhood and loving each other. But every brother in the school will be there when the war begins. When that time of adversity comes, the brother who you have nothing in common with will stand by your side. I pray you understand that. Come on.
Good. You know what I'm saying? When I needed a place to stay, a brother, you know what I'm saying? I think he generated as well. I think him and Ty Ward probably came up together. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I needed a place to stay. I ended up staying with your brother. And it's like, we seen each other in school before. We know each other, but it's like, we don't hang out. We're not that good with each other. But when I needed a place to stay, that's where I was at.
It's a time of adversity, y'all. He knows his duty.
Right.
He knows his duty. That's why he was born. Next, come on. The last question.
Salagi, sir.
8:45, Mayak, or sooner? Okay, I think it's a specific time I'm supposed to go. Commander General Yohana said. Go ahead.
Sir. Brother wanted a breakdown on Romans chapter 13, 6 and 7.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
This is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 6. For this cause, pay ye tribute also. For they are God's ministers, attending continually upon this very thing.
Give me one or two verses above it.
Verse 4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good.
A little more. One more verse.
Verse 3.
We're in Romans. What chapter?
The 13th chapter.
Was there a specific question?
So they just wanted to.
I got you. This precept is about officers and priests in the UPK. This precept is not about cops. The purple homos and Christians teach that this is talking about police officers in the world, which is heinous and disgusting and cruel. It is not, a police officer in the world is not a minister of God. That's not what he is. He's not a minister of God. He's a minister of the state, not of God. But the purple homosexuals teach that. The Christians teach that about Romans 13. I don't have a ton of time, but just give me to the question, then I'll explain.
So they just wanted, I think they just pretty much broke it down.
Is that it? Because that's what I hear over the years, that this is talking about cops, right? Police officers. So he's a minister of God, so you have to do what he tells you to do. When he pulls you out your car and tells you to sing, you better sing because he's the minister of God. He's not. He's a minister of the state. Anything you do with a cop, you do with it because of the authority he has in the state. Whose face is on the side, Maya? Whose face is on the money? Then render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, but render unto God what is God's. A minister of God and a minister of Caesar are two different things. Okay. A minister of Caesar is different than a minister of God. All right, continue.
Verse 6. You want me to continue reading that on?
Read one or two more verses. Go ahead.
Sir. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 5. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. This
is speaking about priests in the truth. You must be subject. What does that mean? You must submit unto them. Not only for what?
Sir, not only for wrath.
What is wrath? Meaning not only to subside their anger, but for your own conscience. Obeying a cop has nothing to do with satisfying your own conscience. Right? But obeying a priest of God is a good idea. Why? One, because then he won't be angry at you for being out of order. And you and your conscience will know that you're doing the right thing, man. Because the orders he's given you come from God and not from the state, not from Caesar, and not from himself, but from God. Quickly.
Verse 6. For this cause pay ye tribute also, for they are God's ministers.
For this cause pay you tribute also, for they are God's ministers. What is tribute? They are God's ministers. Come on. Correct. The money that you give the priests the alms, the tithes, all the different monies that the priests received. You give that because they're God's minister. A Pharisee is not God's minister. A cop is not a minister of God. And these churches teach that you're paying tribute, meaning they teach that this tribute is taxes, because the people collecting taxes are the ministers of God. That is absolutely disgusting and terrible.
That's right.
You pay your tithes because the priests that collect them are the ministers of God. Your camp fund, your building fund, whatever you give to the different barbecues. Give the Lord a hand for the New York barbecue we just had, man. An outstanding barbecue on the Captain Czar yacht. And all of the sisters down there that contributed to help that barbecue, man. Excellent sisters. Give them a hand. All of them, they paid tribute. They gave their monies so that we could have that barbecue. They did a hell of a job, and they deserve to be praised. And they have pushed off wrath, and they have done what's right to their own conscience. This is talking about priests of God, not cops, all right? With that, pass the class over. The priest officer done, y'all.